4-2.
Who's
All
taking
right.
game one? The Warrior?
All right, all right. So we are back live. I do not know what happened to our stream right there. We having some technical difficulties, but of course we're transparent on this show. This is nothing. We do this all the time.
Yes,
We
sir.
bounce back like it ain't
Yes,
nothing.
sir.
Okay. So before we started having our stream health issues here, we were talking about John Moxley making his debut in the AEW. Did you guys, when he announced that he had changed over to John Moxley, were you guys sold that he was actually going to AEW? Did you think that he was going to stay in WWE? Was this a shock, or was this something that you guys figured out the whole time?
I
With the
pretty
way that he
much.
came out,
Go ahead.
go ahead. Jay, share me a Coke. I pretty much thought that, I saw a thing talking about John Moxley is Impact. I'm like, why in the hell is he going to jump on the ship that's sinking? He's going to AEW. And I was right. That was just my thought.
Yeah, I guessed or hoped or figured that he was gonna be on the show in some capacity. I just didn't know in what capacity. So it wasn't really a surprise, but at the same time, it was a surprise for him to be involved in that match. I thought he would probably do like a surprise promo or something like that. So that was dope.
I am going to be the person to admit that I was definitely shocked at Dean Ambrose, or I'm sorry, John Moxley. It's going to take me a while to get used to calling him John Moxley again. Dean Ambrose did kind of grow on me as far as the name goes. We know I was highly critical of him in WWE, but that's all water under the bridge, fresh start, whatever. But I was shocked. I'm one of the people who was out there who thought that the whole angle with WWE was a work. Just because anybody that's usually leaving WWE, it's not announced that they're going to leave that far in advance, months in advance. Even though he took a lot of losses at the end, he still was televised every week and on a hot spot on the card every week. That he was there until the last day. So I thought it was a work. I thought that they were going to let him use the John Moxley character in WWE. So I was fairly shocked to see him come out as far as on AEW programming. Now, he came out, he attacks Chris Jericho, he attacks Kenny Omega, eventually hits the Dirty Deeds, which they did call it the Dirty Deeds on AEW programming. Hits the Dirty Deeds on top of the display of poker chips on the outside of the stage, and the show goes off. Dean Ambrose is now probably the biggest star in wrestling off of this one moment. Or I'm sorry, John
Yep.
Moxley is the biggest star in wrestling, not just AEW, not WWE, but in wrestling. Period. He might have just become the biggest star in wrestling. Do
That
you
price
guys?
just went up.
Oh, the price tag is way up there right now. If I'm Dean Ambrose, but the thing about it is that they have to use this momentum to build off of it, and you have to give even
Right.
more shock value. Which, on top of this debut, Dean Ambrose has been capitalizing on top of that with an interview that was released yesterday with Jericho on Talk is Jericho's podcast, where he had a lot to say about WWE. Now, once again, I don't know if you guys listened to the podcast. It was an hour and a half long. If you haven't heard it, I definitely recommend you should go out there and take some time to listen to it. We listen to 2 hours worth of music every day. You can put up an hour and a half for a podcast. If you don't want to listen to Talk is Jericho, make sure you listen to the Marking Out Amongst Friends podcast. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. We're on Player.fm. We're also on the iTunes store. We're also in the Google Play store. Just download the Google Play app, Google Play Podcast, and search for Marking Out Amongst Friends and subscribe. Shameless plug. Anyway, this podcast, this show was probably one of the best post WWE interviews that I've definitely had a chance to listen to. Chill, what did you think about this interview as a whole when you listened to it?
Man, right off the bat, man. Well, I'll put it like this. What I took away from it, let's start like that. What I took away from it is I don't see why he has any reason to bury the WWE in a sense of like in malicious intent. Moxley, Ambrose, whatever you want to call him, is very honest. He not only comes across as that, but even when they try to go on the network and watch the little documentaries he's really brutally honest, not always entertaining, but honest. But so, and what I took away from it is like the question that I had on my mind was Vince, and we all see how Vince likes his way of WWE. We see how he likes his way of comedy being, and the most present act, because it's really getting, for lack of a better term, no pun intended, or maybe some pun intended, it's really getting raw, for real. We got to figure out what's going on. And that's what I took from it, man. Ambrose is, like I said, I don't think he has any reason to be malicious and bury them for that in that way. I think it was all truth, and I think a lot of the other talent there feels like that. And he was just speaking what everybody else can't say.
All right, now, Lady Great One, we were talking about before the show. I know you said you hadn't got a chance to listen to all of the interviews, but we did talk about some of the sound bites. Do you think, because Dean Ambrose was not your typical, he didn't give your typical burial, as Chill was saying, as most other stars do. He gave a lot of props to WWE, said he wouldn't be where he is if it wasn't for WWE, he wouldn't be a well-known name. He didn't talk about people that he didn't like, that he didn't